What's up, guys? Dylan Rush here, joined today by a military veteran who is now a performance chef for countless boxers, UFC fighters, mixed martial artists out there, Mr. Anthony Pressley. We're here at Fight Ready in Scottsdale, Arizona. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You go by Pressley, though, right?
Yes, sir.
We're going to call you Pressley. Yeah. I want to know, we just talked about it a little bit, but what do you do here at Fight Ready? Who are some of the guys you work with?
So I worked with Dan Moret, Bryce Logan, Henry Corrales, Luis Saldana, Deiveson Figueiredo, Kelvin Gastelum, Shimon Moraes. Yeah, just endless list, man. It's been great.
Have you ever tried out the gunfighting with Mr. Hitman Moret?
Yes, I've done.
You have?
Yeah, we've went and shot a lot, and he's part of Rogue Methods. That's our buddy Raul Martinez. He's got a little company called Rogue Methods, so we've shot a lot with him.
I was going to ask you about Santina, but I'm going to cut real quick. Let's go to the beginning. Let's go before all this great stuff you're doing now. I want to know about your early life. So you grew up in Ohio, correct?
Yeah.
More cows than people in the town.
Right.
What were some of your interests growing up? What were some of the things you did on a daily basis out there in farm country?
Just out in the woods, out in the fields, fishing, just playing sports, trying to sop up the day because it was so boring all the time. Shooting guns, just being a country boy,
Did you say that you got a nursing degree?
I went through the military and got a combat medic certification as a Navy corpsman, and then I carried that over with more classes and everything into a nursing degree, and then I kind of worked the public health side of things for a while, and then my last gig was with pediatric nurse.
So you were in the naval branch of the military?
Yeah.
What age were you when you got out? How many years did you spend with the military?
I was in for just under 5 years, and I think I was 25 when I got out.
So you're 25, you get out of the military. At this point, do you return back home to Ohio? Do you go somewhere else?
No, I was stationed in Chicago, and when I got out of the military, they offered me a job as a health technician. So I stayed there for another 4 years in Chicago, and then I made the move in 2011 to Arizona.
Arizona, where we're sitting now today, 2022. So 11 years ago you came, or 2023, 12 years ago you come out here to Arizona. What prompted you to make that switch to move across the country to here, this desert?
Well, my ex-wife's parents lived here. We thought we wanted to be around family, so we moved out here, and, the rest is history.
And at this point, were you thinking about nutrition? Were you thinking about being a chef? Or at this point, were you still... You said that your highest was, 407 pounds?
Yeah, I was a real big guy then. Kind of lost in the sauce. I was very depressed, felt down, out, felt like I had nothing going for me. And then in 2015, I started to make the switch.
And you didn't know you were depressed until what? What did you start doing that made you come to this realization that you were actually depressed and not just, going through life?
I started listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. I know it's kind of a bro thing, but I started listening to the podcast and I'm like, I want to feel better. He's talking about always feeling better and going out in nature and eating healthy and all this. And I'm like, well, if this guy can do it, maybe I can do it. And so that kind of got the ball rolling with my nutrition and losing the weight.
And what was the first step? Were you going out and running? Were you working on exercising first? Or was it changing your diet? What was the thing that got the ball rolling for you?
I started with food first. My first 100 pounds that I lost, I did hardly any exercise. A couple walks around the block. I would go out in the mountains a little bit just to get the mountain effect and get more sun in my life. And it was all food. My portions, eating the correct foods, and, I was kind of a guinea pig for weight loss for myself,
So did you imagine during this remarkable weight loss journey, you said down 200 pounds naturally, you updated it, was 185 for a while. Yeah. Could you have imagined that you would be helping others with their weight when you're going through this journey? You're going to be not just helping others with their weight, helping guys like Tyson Fury, one of the baddest men on the planet, all these fighters. Could you have imagined it?
No, it's I tell Dan all the time, I said, this is like a dream. I'm going to wake up from a dream and be like, man, I hope I get the chance to do all this cool stuff. I had no idea that I'd ever work with athletes. I had no idea I would cook for people. I thought I was just going to go to this BS job every day and feel like unfulfilled every day and just kind of die old and retire, you know?
Yeah. Well, you were just away for 6 months, right? 6 months in England, the UK, away from this beautiful sunny Arizona. What's a day in the life in one of these long camps with Fury, with Spence, with Joe Parker? What's a day in the life for Pressley? What are you doing on a daily basis?
So usually waking up at 6:30, getting breakfast ready by 7:30. Tyson liked to eat a little bit earlier at 7, and then just kind of managing the refrigerator. Oh, what do I need? Do I need to go to the shop today? Do we need water today? Do we need more protein powder? Do we need, you're kind of like, I call myself the fight camp wife, because I'm like sitting there managing these guys. I'm holding their bags in press conferences. I'm running security for them when they need me to. I'm just kind of a jack of all trades. I don't just cook, Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool to be a part of all that.
So your name, I love your name, by the way, the Food and the Fighters, your Instagram handle, Food and the Fighters. How did you come up with that? Where did that originate from?
So I wanted to start a YouTube channel where I would cook for these fighters that I was with and kind of like cook their favorite childhood meal. So I'm like, how about Food and the Fighters? I think that'd be sick to have a little YouTube show doing that. And then I kind of branched off and started going to all these big fight camps, so I kind of put that on the back burner.
Okay, makes sense. So what do you said you're here at Fight Ready, you work with a lot of the guys, food prepping and whatnot. What do you do here, like, on a daily basis? So, like, when you're working with these guys, do you do anything here in the gym, or do you just work out with them? Or
I don't do anything in the gym here. But when I'm with, like, Parker or Tyson, I go to the gym with them. I do all their workouts. I help. I'll do, like, grease for them, water for them during sparring. Just whatever I can I be an asset in any angle, I will do it, just to I want to be a part of the camp in the full capacity.
So you mentioned some of the guys you've worked with, Kelvin Gastelum, Tracy Cortez, Shea Marias, Henry Corrales, the list goes on. Do you feel like you're in a good spot for what you want to do in terms of geographical location? Do you feel like Arizona has a good MMA community that's growing in recent years?
Yeah, I do. I really... you can do really big things here because it's not only is Fight Ready here, you got MMA Lab, you've got, go down to Chandler, you got Ryan Bader's gym down there. But I think geographically, I think I'm going to go to the UK and stay out there and work with all those guys out there.
So you mentioned you have 2 daughters. How old are your daughters?
My daughters are 13 and 14.
13 and 14. Okay, so they're not young children, but they're preteens, teens, whatever. Do they understand, you were gone for 6 months just now, do they understand that you're doing this for them, that you're living out your dream, making a lot more money than you used to, and that all this time away is you're spent doing good things and doing work?
I think what has benefited me is being open with communication and being like, hey, I know I'm gone, I know this sucks, but I'm so close to seizing what I've wanted out of all of this. Just give me a little more time. This is what I'm looking at. This is what we're going to be able to do because of that. And because of that open communication, we're able to kind of like go, okay, yes, it sucks to be away, but we'll FaceTime, we'll text, we'll still talk all the time. So they kind of get an understanding of me being gone.
You've seized a lot of great opportunities recently. It's been great. It's been fun to follow your journey the last year. Another recent business venture you just had, you just published a cookbook. It is called, what is it called?
Eat Like a Champion.
Eat Like a Champion by Chef Pressley. Is this the first book you've published? And what can you tell me about this book? What can readers expect to find?
So there's little stories about different people I've worked with, and their favorite meals are highlighted in there. So you can kind of eat Tyson Fury's favorite meal that I made him.
That's dope.
He would have it like 4 or 5 days a week. He loved it. It's a Greek kebab with a yogurt, garlic yogurt sauce and a cucumber salad. He loved it. So not only that, you get to see what Brantley Gilbert's favorite meal was, Errol Spence, and then you get to see how I kind of build a recipe and how I approach food. So it's really easy to follow. This is the poultry edition, so it's only turkey and chicken. My next one is going to be surf and turf, red meat, and seafood. That'll be dropping soon. It takes a lot of time to do it. It's very tedious. You got to make sure the measurements are right. You got to make sure the description is easy to follow. A lot goes into it, but it's very rewarding.
So we talked a lot about the things you've accomplished in recent months, recent years. But what about the future? What can we expect to see from you in 2023? And what can you tell me about Travel Feast? What is Travel Feast?
So I want to do more fight camps with Joe, Tyson, whoever. But I'm starting a YouTube cooking show where I travel all over Europe. I eat with chefs. I cook with chefs. I learn about the culture. I immerse myself in the culture. Because my hero growing up was Anthony Bourdain. I actually got him tattooed on me. I want to be another Anthony Bourdain style where I make food and culture so great that makes you want to go travel and makes you want to go experience that food. Because, when you sit around with a group of people and you share a meal together, there's a bonding that happens that is unlike any other bond. Maybe fighting with a bunch of these guys, you create this bond, and it's so important. And so I want everybody to experience that.
So you mentioned one of the all-time great chefs, Anthony Bourdain. What about another one, Mr. Gordon Ramsay? You sat next to him at the last Fury fight, Fury Chisora. You're ringside for this one. How was that meeting one of your idols in Gordon Ramsay?
It was so amazing. During the Tyson camp, at the beginning of the camp, I told him I was a huge fan of Gordon Ramsay. So then, flash forward to fight night. We're sitting in the locker room at Tottenham Stadium, and I see like a bunch of people walking in with cameras, and people are going crazy, and it's Gordon Ramsay. The first thing Tyson does is go, "Press, where are you? Press." He invites me over. "This is Pressley. He's my chef, Gordon. He's a huge fan of yours." I mean, he's about to go out and fight Derek Chisora, and he has the wherewithal to remember that I was such a big fan, right? Yeah. And then I text my girlfriend. I said, "I just met Gordon." She goes, "Guess what?" She sends me a selfie. She goes, "You're sitting next to Gordon. Your seat is right next to Gordon Ramsay for the entire fight." I sat next to him. We talked boxing. I was making jokes. We were laughing. And then I got the balls, and I told him my whole story. Why I'm cooking is because of him. He loved it. He gave me a scan code. I scanned it. It was his personal cell phone number. Talked to him about food and maybe having a working relationship in the future. It was an incredible experience.
That is awesome. I have one similar moment I got to tell you. Not a lot of people say this is a guy that got them into the sport, but I walked out of Madison Square Garden after the PFL Championships in November, and I locked eyes with Rashad Evans, and I just had to tell him. I thought about it for a second. I had the balls. I said, "Yo, you got me into the sport. I would not be standing here as media today doing this, covering the sport if it weren't for you." So it was awesome. That was a cool moment for me. I'm sure it was cool for you. Yeah. What is some advice you would give? I'm sure you've gotten this question day in and day out. I'm not that clever of a guy. I can't come up with original questions. What is some advice you would give to someone that finds himself in a position that you found yourself overweight, you reached 400 pounds, that's looking to get on the right track, that's looking to go on a weight loss journey similar to your own?
I would just say the first thing you got to do is get your mindset right. I was so hurt in the inside. I had no idea why. I started journaling. I started writing down why I was feeling this way, and then I would reread it and go, "Man, I got a lot going for me. Why am I so sad?" So I started getting my mindset right, and then I included the food as well. So it was like these two things I started doing, is getting my mindset right and understanding why I was so sad and how can I help myself from being sad. And then I started eating well, started losing weight, and everything, my mood started picking up. I started feeling better about myself. So it's like, you got to put the work in. It's hard to do, but it's so rewarding. And what I tell other people is, why wouldn't you want to feel the best you can feel? Do you want to feel like crap all the time? No, you don't allow yourself to feel that way. You want to feel great. I feel great now that I've lost the weight. I get to work out with Tyson Fury. Like, I get to work out with Joseph Parker, Errol Spence. Me and Brantley Gilbert do workout sessions on the when we stop on the tour bus. It's incredible. At 400 pounds, I could never have done any of this. I could barely get off the couch. So if you open that door and you want to lose the weight, get your mind right, start learning stuff again. Like, I started jiu-jitsu, I learned how to weld, I did a pottery class, I did all these different things to kind of ignite my brain, and it just started a snowball effect. All these things add up, and you can, it's hard to explain. When you open this door, you can see all the possibilities, and then you get in there to all these possibilities, and then there's 40 other doors that you're like, oh shit, I can go through any of these doors now. Yep. You open one and 40 opens up. So you never know what's possible. I was a 30-year-old man, 400 pounds, thought life was over, and now I just got back from the UK working with arguably one of the biggest sports icons in the game. It's just incredible.
Sometimes when you get caught up in things that you've accomplished, some of your accomplishments and accolades, sometimes people tend to overlook the personal relationships that they've built, the friends that they've made during this whole journey. Joseph Parker is one that comes to mind, one of your good friends. What can you say about some of the friends and some of the people that you've met that have helped you in this whole journey?
So I grew up, I don't really have a big family. I don't have a good relationship with my parents or anything. And what I learned with Tyson and Joe is family is everything. And family doesn't always mean blood relatives. And so just see the way they take care of everyone. You see the way they love each other. They're always hugging and like, bro, it's so good to see you. When I left, all the guys in Tyson's crew shook my hand, told me how good of a job I did, and I can't wait to see you again. I had lost that, and so it was great to have that back.
What can you tell me about Tommy Fury? It seems like all the Furies are cool, really nice people. It seems like it just got announced, actually, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury next month. What do you make of that matchup? What can you tell me about him?
I think it's going to be a real tough test for both of them, but I think Tommy will put it on him. And I don't think Jake Paul will be able to keep up with him. Tommy's a great guy. I lived with Tommy for like 3 months every day. He trains really hard. He's taking everything really serious. He's not just a pretty face. You know what I'm saying? He is a tough guy. He works extremely hard. And I'm not saying Jake doesn't, but he's a legit boxer.
I got one last question for you. I finish every interview with this question. I hope this is only the first of many interviews we do together. When it's all said and done, training, working with fighters, working with whoever, travel fees, cookbooks, this, that, and the third, what do you want people to remember most about food and the fighters, Mr. Pressley?
I just want people to know that, like, it's okay to have good things happen to you. I want people to know that if you work hard, you can still be nice, you can be humble. I want people to know that I only have good intentions in my heart. And I want people to experience my food. I want them to remember me for my food, and that maybe I help them out. You know, I love to help people. So that's basically it, bro, you know?
That is an amazing answer. That's a good answer, bro. That's respectable. Listen, this guy's done a bunch of great things in the last year. You learned a little bit about him today, but go check out his Instagram, Food and the Fighters, his new cookbook,
Eat Like a Champion.
Eat Like a Champion by Chef Pressley. He's doing a lot of great things. A good guy to check out. Down 200 pounds naturally. I mean, what more can you say? I will say more. He's one of the first followers ever of Rush MMA. So as if this guy could have got any cooler. I mean, it's ridiculous. What don't you have? Thank you, man.
That's right.